Good morning and welcome. My name is Ray. I am a nationally board certified health and wellness coach, certified breath coach, yoga instructor, and just glad to be here with you all this morning to talk about breath and how to breathe to focus, and really how we just bring our breath with us wherever we go. So it's this great tool that we have that we can just treasure and work with. So thank you again for joining me. Let's go ahead and sit up nice and tall and just take a moment just to relax the shoulders down, and maybe even taking your right hand onto your chest and your left hand onto your belly, and begin to feel the breath coming in, just this awareness of our breath. Feel free to allow the eyes to become heavy at any point during this time as we're breathing together. And as you inhale, just think about a 4 count as the breath comes in, and a 4 count as you exhale. So just really feeling it through the belly and the chest. Good. And you can just relax those hands down now and keeping them in a relaxed position on your lap as we go into a lot of focus on breath, but the science behind breath and some Ujjayi breathing that we'll get into in a little bit as well. But I also wanted to share a little history on breath as it goes into biblical times. And I love to think about even the verse from Job that states, "For the Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life." And I just think that's such a beautiful verse for us to think about. Is just from the moment that we become alive, right? That we're born, that we take that first breath. And it is this amazing tool and gift that we've been given that we can utilize throughout life. And we'll get started to the next slide to be able to see the benefits of breathing. And with the benefits of breath work, we think about it relieving stress. That's the first one we think about, right? Is how do we relieve stress? Well, just taking deep breaths is a great way to do that. Relieves stress and anxiety and improve sleep. Who doesn't need to improve sleep, right? So sleep is such an important part of our lives. And if we lose sleep, we notice it quite quickly with how we operate, how we go about our day to day, how we respond to people. So we need that sleep. Improves digestion. This is one we may not think about a lot, but it definitely does. It relaxes and allows the parasympathetic nervous system to kick in, which allows for better digestion. Balances our energy. In the mornings, we may not even need a cup of coffee after learning some breath work, because we can utilize our breath to get us going in the morning to actually bring in fight or flight, which is what coffee does, so that we can bring that in. So balancing that energy and then being able to relax later in our days, and managing pain. So if we're able to breathe, and we even think about childbirth, right? We're learning to breathe to be able to endure pain. So that is an option of breath work. Personal experience, lowering blood pressure. I have had a history of blood pressure, hypertension, and those opportunities have allowed me to explore how can I manage this, and definitely see help with breath work and reducing our heart rate just in that moment, right? So maybe the moment before you're getting ready to speak, or a moment before you're getting ready to do a big exciting event in your life and you just need to relax. And going to that next slide. So just take a moment right now for each of you just to think about why breath work may be important to you and or for someone you love. So we talked about some of the benefits, but really think about, and hopefully you've received the worksheet that you can work through and maybe write down why it's important to you so that you can reflect back on that. Because everyone needs this, right? We all need to be able to reflect back on our breath and be able to take it with us, be able to utilize it in spaces, to be able to utilize it throughout the day. And so how does it work simplistically? Well, really the science of our breath and how it impacts the nervous system, the brain and energy. Breathing influences the autonomic nervous system. And so that, as I mentioned, sympathetic, fight or flight, parasympathetic, rest and digest, excuse me. And so being able to toggle between these places is important for us because we need to be able to run and get excited about things and be able to celebrate. And we're not always fighting, but we're flying, right? So I think about that flight of we're going through life. So we need to be able to engage, but then we need to be able to relax. We need to be able to bring it back. And then perhaps, breath patterns when we think about energy levels going up and down. Obviously, if we're breathing fast, it's stimulating. And when we breathe slow, it's calming. So just that things that we may not have thought about, but it actually correlates beautifully. And then how do you typically breathe when you're stressed? Anybody? You're probably breathing kind of quickly, right? We take these shallow breaths that we're not really fully breathing through the chest and through our tummies, right? That we just, it's the quick breath. We're not utilizing our even full lung capacity. And then slow breaths is when we're really utilizing full lung capacity and being able to fully engage at that time. And then our next slide, oops, I may have advanced something here. There, I think we're dual toggling. There we are. Why breath work matters. I keep talking about this parasympathetic system. Well, it's pretty complex, right? And it's connected to our vagus nerve. And so when we think about all of this working synergistically, and we talk about even controlling the bladder and stimulating the bile release for us to have digestion, all of these pieces working in tandem that we need to be able to slow down. We need to be able to relax and have that breath working for us, right? In that calm space. So we don't even think about all of the ways, but I thought this diagram was pretty important to just show how everything is connected through the vagus nerve. Next slide. Okay, so this is the fun part because we get to maybe practice something that you haven't done before. If anybody has taken yoga, you may have heard a yoga instructor talk about ocean breath or ujjayi breathing. And you may have been practicing this for quite some time, or you may have thought, well, I don't even know what she's talking about. So the yoga instructor doesn't always take the time to explain what this might be and how we can utilize our breath. But with ujjayi breathing, you use the back of our throat. And so think about taking your hand and like you're breathing into a mirror. So everybody just take a moment just to, so we have that action of breath that comes through. So that's kind of the feeling that we have in our throat, that same sensation whenever we breathe in. Something else I would love for you to think about is the reason that it's called ocean breath is because it sounds like the ocean. So pausing just a moment, allow yourself again to sit up nice and tall and roll those shoulders down and away. Sitting at the edge of your seat and not back in your chair so that we have our posture allowing the diaphragm to be lifted up to give us that space for breath. And as you inhale, go ahead and seal the lips off. And take in a breath and see if you can hear the ocean and concentrate on the back of the throat. So that slight constriction, as if, again, you're fogging the mirror. And as you exhale, think about the wave as it goes in. So think about your breath now. Inhale and exhale. Continue with that breath, just like the ocean. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now let's take it in a little slower. Think about that 4 count. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Once again, inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just relax, neutralize your breathing now. Hopefully you were able to feel that in the back of your throat where you're starting to hear the ocean, the waves coming in and going out. Another beautiful piece about ocean breath is that it is connected to the sound of the ocean, and that the sound of the ocean, if you've been to the ocean walking alongside the beach recently and you hear the waves going in and out, it really helps us to relax and being in nature. So this active concentration and focus allows us to really focus on our breath and allows the other things around us to kind of disappear for a moment. Hopefully you were able to feel just a little bit of that with our breath. I encourage you to practice that ocean breath so that you have that really comfortable and you're not constricting your throat. It's just a slight constriction instead of real constriction. So it's really important to take time to practice breathing. And I know for some of us that might sound a little ridiculous, right? But, well, I breathe all the time. But with this, we want this focused breath. It allows, once again, things around you to kind of go away for a moment and allows you to breathe deeply. So did anybody feel anything with that? And was anybody able to feel the ocean breath for maybe the first time? I don't see any hands, although I can't see everyone very easily either.
I
So
feel like I'm really bad at this, Ray, so I'm glad that you're going to help me learn how to do it.
it does take practice. And to be honest, I've been a yoga instructor for 15 years and I teach, right? And I go and I receive by going to a yoga class, when I can, because receiving is so much different than teaching, right? Because when we're teaching, we're talking all the time and we're not breathing. We're telling everyone else to breathe. So it is important and it does take practice for us to do. So again, ocean breath, ujjayi breathing, really thinking about that focus with this breath and being able to take this with you. So does everyone, by a show of hands, think you could take 5 minutes a day to commit to trying ocean breath? I see some hands going up. Good, good, good. Because this really is something that helps us, like again, with digestion and our blood pressure. For me, that was a big thing. I had gone through cancer and I had lost some of my function with my kidneys, and that regulation being connected to my blood pressure was something that I didn't even understand right at the time, what's going on with my body, because everything is so interconnected. All right, let's go ahead and go to that next slide. So again, making a practice consistent, and that is so hard. So for those of us that love calendars, right, I encourage you just to put it on your calendar. Whether if you take out your phone right now, wherever you keep your calendar, if you're a paper person, I encourage you to write it on your calendar and repeat it. Just put it on as a repeat. It's the best way to do it. I know whenever I was first just trying to get walks in every day, right, that I would put it on my calendar. And breath work is the same way. It's just like, oh, wow, I just really need to remember to breathe. So whether it's first thing in the morning that you just taking a moment to just reflect and breathe, perhaps midday for you if you're working, and it really allows you to reset going into the second half of your day. Perhaps you've been struggling with sleep. And this is one, especially as we age, that we need. We need our sleep, and we probably need tools to be able to help us to relax and be able to breathe and be able to have a successful night of sleep. And I say successful night of sleep because sometimes it's very unsuccessful, and we need to be able to have tools to be able to take it in as we breathe throughout our day and prepare us for the evenings as well. Next slide. All right. I told you about that 5 minutes. So I'm going to give you some kind of tools that you can think about. So just 1 minute, even if you just take 1 minute just to close your eyes and take those 6 slow breaths and really think about your ocean breath. Again, attention to breathing is so important. And there is science behind this focused attention. A lot of research has been done about really taking all of the distractions away, and that we're completely focused on something to be able to clear our minds of everything else that's going on. So even if you just take 1 minute, that's easy, right? And just take those 6 slow breaths. Commute calm, I call it, using those red lights, or when you're out walking as breathing cues. Just really, I don't often tell people to practice breath work while they're driving, because some breath work is pretty intense. And so we don't want to do that. But if it just is a quick little, wow, I've got this day, right? I'm going to take in a breath while I'm at a stoplight. That's okay. I'll say that one's okay, but we're not going to do any intense breath work while we're driving, because that could cause a problem as well. So there's your warning before we get into the next 4 weeks. If you come along this journey with us, where we will be getting into some deeper breathing, to where we don't want to do that while we're driving. But for now, ocean breath is good if you're at a stoplight. And then pre-meetings. Has anybody ever gone into a meeting feeling a little uptight or anxious before you get there, right? Just taking 3 deep breaths, 3 beautiful deep breaths before speaking, or even while you're listening. Have you ever been like wanting to say something and you're just like, I wish this person would hurry up and get out what they want to say, because what I have to say is so important. I know we're not supposed to do that, but we find ourselves doing that from time to time, I think. So take that time to breathe. It's a great way for you to get benefit. It also helps you to be a better listener, whether it's with our kiddos, whether they're young adults or coworkers, or if it's a customer and we're needing to just, take in what they're saying. It's so important for us to just take a breath, and we get focused on what they're really talking about as well. Next slide. Okay. I've already been planting seeds about the Breathe Well Foundations workshop that we're going to be doing starting next Friday. So with this, we will be getting deeper into the anatomy and physiology around breathing. There's going to be techniques to support anxiety, sleep, energy, and clarity that I've already shared just a little bit with, but we'll go much deeper. In fact, the first week we will be doing breath testing. And this will be whether you're left or right nostril dominant, and this changes throughout the day. So we'll do tests around that, CO2, and then just breath control. So what does that look like? We'll give a lot of ways that we can utilize this if we wake up through the night. Has anybody ever done that? Like where you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't go back to sleep because your mind is racing? No one? Do I see hands? Okay. There are some people that it happens to. It's not just me. Good. Awesome. So we are going to learn some techniques that actually, when you wake up in the middle of the night, that helps you to be able to go back to sleep. Of course, some of the simple things that we've practiced today can help with that, but actually taking that to a whole new another level will be covered throughout the next 4 weeks. We'll also get into these daily routines. You'll be receiving an email with videos at the beginning of the week, and you'll be utilizing those videos throughout the week 3 times a day. So you'll get a morning routine, a midday routine, and an evening routine. So this will allow for that coffee breath in the morning. I know that sounds so crazy. You don't really want coffee breath, do you? But coffee breathing is that wake up in the morning that really gets us going. We'll also talk about balanced breathing that kind of brings us back. Maybe we've had a hectic morning and it's a way to get us back on track for the rest of the day. We may have to revert back. And so you can actually go back to the first video, which was that kind of that wake up video in the morning. We may be able to integrate that into like an afternoon, right? So if you're feeling that 2 o'clock and it's like, oh, wow, I am just not feeling this next meeting that I have to go to, or I have 3 more hours that I need to knock out this project. Instead of reaching for that cup of coffee, you might revert back to that morning breathing session because it will actually turn on your sympathetic nervous system to get you ready to go out throughout the rest of the day. And then we'll have a video that will prepare you for sleep. So some really deep breathing practice, and you'll practice those each day. You'll have a little worksheet to go through to kind of see how you're doing and working throughout the week and then throughout the 4 weeks. By the end of 4 weeks, we'll do the actual breath test and control at the end as well, so that we can kind of see how far you've come throughout the 4 weeks. You'll be able to see difference in your breath control and how you can utilize your breath more. You'll be able to share experiences with the group to kind of, wow, I went from this to this, or I was able to go back to sleep this many times throughout my week. So please join me as we go throughout the next month, the next 4 weeks, to go through these practices. And I look forward to that as well. I think we have one more. There it is. And again, for myself, this is something that has been truly a part of my life and has brought me peace. Been through a lot of trauma in my past, but that allows us to learn from it and be able to give tools to others to be able to help them in their current situations. So I really appreciate anyone that wants to reach out and connect. Happy to do that as well. I can do one-on-ones with folks if that is something that they would desire, rather than in a group setting. And sometimes that's a lot more comfortable for people. So I understand that as well. Happy to work with you one-on-one. And as at UpLevel, we have a multitude of coaches that can help you on your health and wellness journey. And so no matter whether it's a weight loss goal that you have, maybe strengthening goal that you have, because as a part of what we should be doing each week, we should be getting 150 minutes in, right, of cardio active, and that's a week. So think about that. Are you doing that now? If you need someone to walk alongside you to be able to do that, we should also be getting strong at least 2 times a week, if not more. So that's on the minimum side. So making sure that you're getting those pieces into your life as well. Breathing, and then also nutrition, right? We can't do all of the things that we need to do without nutrition. And we have nutrition counselors as well that can walk alongside you in your health and wellness journey. Wendy, did I miss anything that you would like to add?
Nope, I think that's great. I'm excited to dive into this next experience with you, because I'm realizing I know nothing about any of this. I'm with Michelle. I didn't know we had a dominant nostril. So we're all learning together. This is going to be so fun. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining. We will absolutely send you the link to join the next group. We will start that next Friday, and I feel like I'm very conscious of how I'm sitting all and breathing all of a sudden. So this is great. I love it. Thank you so much, Ray.
Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day.